Hello everyone and welcome again to the Doctor Show. I'm Dr. Zahra Jumaili here and it's another episode to talk about medicine, about healthcare, about diseases, about everything you can ever wonder about that it includes in human biology. So if you have any questions to ask me, if you have anything you've been wondering about all these topics, you can always text us and message us on social media. You can always find our previous episodes, and to check them out on social media, please check the links below. So today's episode is basically very, very basic information about the digestive system. We eat every day, we go to the bathroom every day, but do we know a lot of things about our digestive system? So today I'm going to talk about every part from the mouth to the anus to see what do they do, what their function, and what could happen if something went wrong with them. So let's keep it short and let's try to start from the beginning. First of all, the mouth. It starts from the mouth. So the digestive system, or in biology it's called the alimentary canal, all of this, it starts with the mouth. The mouth, of course, the first function of it is to actually chop the food and to make it to little smaller pieces. But not a lot of people know that the digestion starts from the mouth, like we digest the food starting from the mouth. Carbohydrates, which are basically in bread, pasta, pastries, all types of croissants on all the pastries, and corn, potato, all of that are carbohydrates. They start getting digested in the mouth because we have some enzymes in the mouth that actually start digesting food. That's why sometimes you have this sweet tasting taste in your mouth without eating a lot of things, because carbohydrates, when they break down into small ones, they turn into sugar. All right, so also we have a lot of glands here to secrete, they call the salivary glands. They secrete saliva, which is the lubrication of the mouth to make the cutting of the food much smoother and nicer, and it would not even hurt. It would hurt if we have a dry mouth. All right, so that's the mouth. Later on, after the mouth, we have something called the esophagus. Esophagus is basically just a tube from the mouth to the stomach, just to transfer the food from the mouth to the stomach. There is a misconception about this esophagus and the trachea. All right, there are two tubes in your neck. The first tube, the one we can feel here, the hard one with the rings, is the trachea. The trachea only transfers the air to the lung, so it has no relation whatsoever with the digestive system. Behind it, there's a tube. They're like that. This is the trachea here. And behind it, there is a tube called the esophagus, which is transferring the food from the mouth to the stomach. So please, please, please do not mistake both of them, because it would be a disaster if the food goes to the lung. It would actually make a lot of problems and diseases and probably choke people. All right, so now we established that the esophagus is the tube from the mouth to the stomach. Now the food, this tube is basically no digestion, it's just transferred. And at the end of the tube, which is the opening of the stomach, we have this muscular ring, basically like the door of the stomach. It usually is closed if there's no food. When there's food around, it opens, the food goes to the stomach, and then it closes. It should not be open, and I will tell you later on why. So that's it. The stomach, the esophagus' problem is gone. Its job is gone. It's just transferring food. Now we have the stomach. What is the stomach? The stomach, basically, it's a big muscular organ that has strong muscles on the wall to actually digest. The main digestion of the food happens in the stomach. So what happens in the stomach? There is a lot of acid, all right, and enzymes. This acid and enzymes help a lot to turn this bunch of food into this whole little thing called chyme. All right, this chyme is basically just almost digested food. It's like a bowl of digested food. And now, since we are done with this, the stomach, you should know that it's very, very acidic. The pH of the stomach is actually 2, which is highly acidic. All right, so that's why it always stays, the acidity stays only in the stomach, and it has a door up in the beginning of the stomach and in the end of the stomach. So the stomach is always closed with 2 doors to not let things happen unless the digestion is done. So the stomach is main place for the digestion. After it's gone from the stomach, it goes to the small intestine. It's called the small intestine because we have two types of intestines, large intestine and small intestine. The small intestine's diameter is 3.5 centimeters only. That's why it's called the small. And it's actually really, really, really long. It's 5 meters long. Imagine how longer of yourself could be. Like it's 4 times as tall as you. And it's actually two, like very, very coiled within each other here in the stomach and below the stomach. And why do I need it to be that long? Because I need to reabsorb as much as vitamins, minerals, all the good molecules in water that I need to reabsorb. And in order to do that, I need more surface area. Absorbing 5 meters is much, much more than absorbing a few centimeters or 1 meter at least. All right, so I need to higher the surface area for me to actually have a better reabsorption. Also, another fun fact that not a lot of people know, that the small intestine has a lot of digestion too. It does have a lot of enzymes that come from the pancreas, which is another organ. We can talk about it later on. We talked about it in the diabetes. It releases insulin, but at the same time, it has a tube from the pancreas to the small intestine to release enzymes, digesting enzymes. So the digestion of the food continues even after the stomach. So that's actually a great thing, because even if I didn't digest enough in the stomach, I keep on digesting in the small intestine. Also, there is a release of bile. The bile is like a substance that's released from the liver. So the bile turns the fat into fatty acids, and the other enzymes turns protein into amino acids, and I absorb all of these good things because I still need them in my body. So all of the small intestine is basically reabsorption, and it also has little villi, like little tiny hairs, to make, even though 5 meters inside of it, it has more surface area to reabsorb all of that. The last thing is the large intestine. The large intestine, the main job of it is to reabsorb as much as water as possible. No digestion whatsoever, no enzymes, nothing. It's just reabsorb the water, and later on it reabsorb the minerals and the vitamins as well. Later on, at the end of it, at the end of the colon, I officially turn all the extra food that I don't need, extra things after all the good amount of reabsorption, into feces. And then later on, the feces are gotten rid of by stools, by the opening of the anus. The anus is actually just the opening. Before there is the rectum and then the colon. So all in all of that is my digesting system. You need to know every part of it, because every part of it could have diseases, all right? Like number 1 disease could be having something called GERD, or the reflux we have. If the door after the esophagus to the stomach little bit opens, all of this acid of the stomach could leak out of the esophagus, which could make us have an acid reflux. And people could actually have a lot of pain while digesting food, while sitting around. So this actually could even make ulcers later on. Ulcers means a certain injury in the esophagus. In the stomach itself, we can have a lot of ulcers, which is injuries as well. And it could be severe, severe pain. And it's caused by H. pylori bacteria. It could be around, a lot of people have it. It's actually very common. All right, we can have a lot of small and large intestine diseases. Usually the large intestine diseases is one of the dangerous things called cancer, which is one of the dangerous and common diseases of the large intestine, or even common cancers in the world, in male and females. So a lot of problems could happen. So we need to know the functions, and we need to know what could go wrong, and we need to know what to do when we actually have them. So we will have a whole nother episode about those diseases, but for now we need to know that the alimentary canal is basically mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and then the anus. So that's basically all the alimentary canal. I hope you know every part of it, and I hope you know their function of them, and I hope you study and Google a little bit more, because it's actually very interesting to know that we're doing this every single day. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you guys next Tuesday. Have a good day.